Hey folks, well, it's been a little bit stressful the last few days. And when I get stressed, I try to sink myself into something that I don't have to think much and give me some ease on what's going on. So, I have been working on some projects and it helps relieve my stress. But I've been having trouble with my Ginger rotary blade, and it was it had gotten to where it wasn't cutting that great, and it needed a new blade, and I would have to buy another one. Well, I don't even know how much they are, but I had thought that I had bought an extra blade when I purchased this years ago. I thought I bought extra blades for it, and I thought I still had one, but I wasn't for sure. So anyways, I was going to go ahead and buy another one because I didn't know where it was, and with moving everything in my sewing room and everything, I was like, crazy. No reason for all this. So I'll just keep on using it until I can go and get another one. Well, I have to get lost in something today, and no better way to get lost in something that the Lord has done for me than to cherish His Word by making a Bible cover. My last Bible cover I'm going to show you, I made over 30 years ago. And let's just say it's been worn and tattered, and I'm ashamed to say this, but I should have taken better care of it. But that's why it's on there, to take care of my Bible, which is still in pretty much mint condition. I mean, it is war, but I like to take good care of God's Word. Anyways, make a long story short, I was showing my mom the work that I had gotten done in the sewing room, and lo and behold, I saw this. This right here had been getting very, very dull, and moving everything around in the sewing room and trying to get it all situated, I have lost more stuff than I can even imagine. I did not realize I had one of these. I thought I was going to have to buy one, but nope, I got one, so I'm going to fix that. And I want to show you my Bible cover. Yeah. To say the least, it was a little bit worn, right? It's over 30 years old, and I hand-stitched, cross-stitched this, and I think it might come off there, I don't know, but it's really dirty, so I'm going to try to take that off there and put it on the front of my new Bible cover that I'm going to make, and I'm going to try to wash it. If it doesn't come out, I just won't put it on there, and I'll just go ahead and do something different. But this Bible cover has meant a lot to me. Anyways, so in my Bible, I'm going to show you my Bible. Yeah, I need a new thingy too. Yeah. Things get worn out. I don't discard something just because it gets messed up. This got some water damage and is torn up, but oh well. So in my Bible, I keep things. I keep pictures, things that my daughter made me. She made this for me to learn the Testaments and the Old Testament and the New Testament, because I never, as a child, ever memorized them. She also made me this. This is a thing of the 10 Commandments and 10 Principles of Prosperity. Really good things to have, and I keep them in my Bible. And of course, the pictures of the kids. This was a what do you call it? A trip that the kids went to with the church. I don't even remember where they were at, but this was many, many, many years ago. And the reason why I have those in there is because a good friend of mine at church, who was one of the chaperones, one of the head guys, Mr. Dye, he gave those to me. Him and his wife used to take pictures of the kids and stuff like that to give to their parents. And somehow he still had those, and he wanted to give them to me. That's, of course, Linda and her little Daniel Boone cap. And let's see. And I like to keep these little things in there, keep my spaces on different things. Oh, there's my mom and my son. And my daughter, Becky, when she worked at the zoo. And that's her when she went to beauty school and she graduated. We had our little graduation party. And that's about it. And more pictures of Linda. There's pictures all throughout here and stuff. There's a few pages that I need to fix, like that right there. I am going to probably take off all these little tabs because, see, they've kind of tore and messed up. So, you can tell I use my Bible quite frequently. Now, I went from reading this daily to reading the Bible on my phone because of the cover and, you know, having to fix these things. So today it's all about restoring my Bible. You can see that I mark in my Bible, and I've got well, hey, there you go. See, I put when I have my Bible with me at church, I put the date the pastor preached, and I circle all the little things, and I put what scriptures it was and everything. I know it sounds weird that I do that, but I do that because I love when, like, let me see in here. There's been some scriptures that have been gone over by different pastors, and I can't find any right offhand, but when they're preaching and I have heard it already, it's on there and it shows that they have already preached it, and it's kind of weird because you get God's word gives you something, I believe, from each and every time that it's preached, and it may be the same message, but you might hear something different because God has allowed you to see. This is a page, for instance, where when I left the church for a little while, I think it was about 2 or 3 years I left the church and went to another church, and Pastor Jamie preached, on this same chapter and that's where Pastor Rhodes had preached. And I probably have Pastor Austin, which was before Pastor Rhodes, and that was 30-something years ago. Anyways, so I keep notes in my Bible, and I want to make it right. So this is the material that I was looking towards making. I'm kind of shying away from this one just because I don't know. I think this one is much better suited for it. I'm going to make it out of this. I think this is absolutely gorgeous material, and I think it'll come out a gorgeous Bible cover. And then when I put that little this little thing on it, I think it will go really nicely. So I don't know what kind of rickrack I'll do, or even if I do, I might just sew it on there, since I have machines with different types of stitches too. So we'll see what I do with it. I don't know if I can do this with one hand, but I want to show you how easy this is to do, to take this little ginger off. You just turn the little thing, it'll come off, okay? And then you just pop that, well, you just pop it down in there and come off. That way you don't have to ever touch the blade. Move this little thingy over, put that on top of there, and this is where it might get tricky because I'm going to have to show you, and I don't know if it'll allow me to do it, but you push this down in here like so, and it will immediately pop off onto there. And then you put it over here onto here and just twist it in. Pretty simple, huh? And you never have to worry about cutting yourself until you move the blade out, and then you could cut yourself. See how sharp that is? Very, very sharp. Very sharp, dude. So I can't wait to use that. Well, I got it off, and that's the glue on the back side that I got it together with. But yeah, I'm thinking it might clean up. We'll see. I'm hoping that it doesn't, that I don't lose it, because it really means something to me. Okay, so I sprayed some shout on it. It's been sitting for a few minutes, and I'm going to use this little brush to scrub it. I'm just going to do it very lightly because I don't want to mess up any of the stitching. Okay, so I washed both sides, and still kind of stiff. I'm wondering if that's some of the stuff, some of the glue that's come through there. But oh well, we'll see how it turns out when I rinse it and dry it. Okay, I am ready to cut this material to the size that I need. The Bible was 17 inches wide when you go all the way around it, so I'm cutting 2 inches longer. Now I brought it to the 20 mark instead of the 19 because I'm going to cut it over here at the 1 mark. So what I do is I line up my ruler with the line of the fold. I put it right on the fold all the way over to the edge where I want it, and that will give me a straight line whenever I cut up through there. Okay, so I cut both sides, and now I am going to turn it, open it, And I know this is going to sound crazy, but I'm going to fold it back over again and put these sides together so that I am doing, okay, there's a reason why I did this. I refolded it in the opposite direction so I could cut the height of the Bible cover. And I'm cutting the selvage. I'm going to clean up the selvage to make a straight line. I could separate these and do them piece by piece, but that would be crazy. So I'm going to have two pieces that are exact size, and I'm going to have a piece that I can open up and I can make the sleeves with by the leftover right here. If not, I can make the third piece that depending on what it opens up to, whether I decide to make the sleeves or if I make the other piece, because these two pieces over here I'm going to take in and quilt these two pieces so that when the third piece goes on, now I could, and I have done this, I might just go ahead and cut another piece of a less expensive material. I have some of this material there. I might do that and put that on the back side of the quilted piece. And I think I will do that because this material is very expensive and that one is not as much. So saves me a few dollars, and maybe I can make another cover with the leftovers. But anyways, I'm going to cut the two pieces. So I have the two pieces here. Then I'll have the leftover over here, and see, because it's got the pleat, it'll open up and I can make the two pieces for the sleeves. So that's what I'm going to do. And then I'll make another piece for the backing of the quilted piece of fabric. Okay, as you can see here, the Bible was 10.5 inches. So I moved it to 12.5 inches. And this is where I'm going to cut the one that I just, the leftover from the two that I just cut. I'm going to cut the sleeves 12.5 inches long, and then I will turn it around and cut it the width that I want it. I'll show you that when I get to it. Okay, so I'm back to the next step, and I need to cut the sleeves. Right now my material is 9.5 inches wide. I am just going to literally take this edge off. This is where the material was folded. I'm going to cut the fold off, and I'm going to leave it at that length because, generally speaking, I try to keep it a pretty good size in there to hold on to the cover. So, and with the Bibles, they usually have leather binding or something. It's easier to bend. If it were a hardback book that I was making a cover for, or a hardback Bible, I've never seen one, but I guess they probably make them. But I would literally make it a little bit smaller so that it would go in there. But already this is 9.5, and I'm gonna edge that seam. I could just open it up and cut down that seam, and I might do that. But this will give it the ability, because I'm going to hem this side, and this side's going in the sewing of the whole cover, so it's going to bring it into being a smaller space anyway. So that's how I try to figure it out. Each and every cover is different, and each and every cover I try to make its own measurements. Okay, now on another thought, before I go back and start sewing these things, I want to let you know that if you're going to be doing this, you should make account for what your material is. On a lot of fabrics, you can tell what is the good side and what's the bad side. But let me show you with this material. You cannot tell at all what is the good side and the bad side. There is no differentiate. I could use either side, and that's okay. But I still want to try to keep up with what is the right sides of the material. And when you buy material, it is always on a fold. It is always, the good side is always out so that the buyer can see what the material looks like. Some people like to sew with the inside out because they like that pattern better than the outside. But I try to stick with the outside fabric the way it's supposed to go because it gives it a cleaner look, and when you start to wear and tear, the inside does not, for some reason, it's not as strong. So I just wanted to add that in there for you. I am fixing to cut the batting. I always put this batting down flat, and then I put my material on top and I cut it all the way around. And I do that because the batting will have ripples and stuff like that in it, and it's very difficult. And if you move the batting around, it never works right because batting stretches, and it can drive you crazy if you try to put it on top of what you're doing or try to cut it exactly to what you're doing by sizing it with the rotary. So this is how I do this to keep it to the right size with a small project like this, and I just cut it through. Okay, so I've cut that, and I literally turned it over and added the solid piece on here, and see the batting's in between. So now I'm going to take this over there and iron this and get these lines out of. Now this particular piece will never be seen except for by me, because, and you guys of course, it will be covered up eventually when I make when I put the other layers together and sew it in its entirety, because this will be on the inside and you'll only see this. You won't see the quilted fabric on the other side. And I like to quilt it. You don't have to quilt it. You don't have to go through all these steps. But when you quilt it, it protects whatever book or Bible that you are trying to carry around. It gives it a little cushion there so that you're not beating it up terribly. And you've seen how my other cover was, so it was pretty beat up. All right, folks, this is ironed. It's ironed pretty good. You won't ever see this line, so I'm not too concerned about that. It won't show in it. You won't feel it. So, but this sticks pretty good together, so I'm going to go ahead and take it on into the other room and quilt it. All right, folks, this is my my sewing machine. It's Envision by Elna, and I fell in love with this machine as soon as I saw it. But anyways, I'm having difficulty with some of the stuff on here. It is an older machine. It will not go into the next row. The touchpad is not working properly. So a lot of these stitches up here I cannot do anymore. but I can still use it for what I need, and I can try to make it work. So I'm going to show you some feet and how this works. Okay, this is a regular foot. I have this open because I just put a bobbin in there. So I'm going to close that. This foot I take off and I will put it away because I'm using this. Now, let me show you one thing about this foot. This is really cool. Okay, this foot has a little mechanism where I can take off the bottom of the foot and put this foot on. This is a 1/4 inch seam allowance foot. You can run your material right down that blade and it will be an exact 1/4 inch every single time. So I use this foot when I am quilting quilt tops a lot. Sometimes I don't use it, depending on, you know, whether or not I want to be real specific about my quilting. And this would be a great buy for any person that is a beginner quilter or a beginner. It'll keep you on that 1/4 inch. You don't have to tape anything. I don't like taping anything. I don't like to worry about any residue that would maybe stuck on my machine. And I've seen people that put tape on there and then it starts to tatter and everything. They've got to replace it and it's all sticky and nasty. So I don't ever want to do that. So anyways, I am going to stick this foot on here. It's a little difficult to do with one hand, but you can see how easy that is. Just screw it back on there. I like it pretty tight. Now, this machine, what I'm talking about freehand, will allow me to drop my presser feet, that's these right here, so that it does not catch on the bottom. Where is it? There it is. See how that dropped down? So now I can sew freehand and do any design that I want to on the top of my cover. So let me get this fixed up and I'll show you. Okay, so this is the top. I don't have any way of holding this, so I can't show you, but when you put that down, see how it moves freely underneath there? The feet are not there to attach to the material. So when you use this specific type of sewing, you need to find a speed that works for you so that you don't mess up your stitches and make it look crazy. But I have enjoyed just playing with different ways to move the foot and everything, and I would love to show you, but I need 2 hands to do this, so I'll bring you back. Okay, so I wish I had someone to have shown you how I did this, but I just pretty much just went around and swirled and zigged and zagged and did my thing. I try not to have sharp spots like right here, but sometimes it happens. But it'll all blend in and it'll look beautiful once it's all finished. So now what I do is I go back to the iron and iron this down really, really good. And I'll bring you back when I put the layers together. Okay, just in case you were wondering what the back side looked like, this is the back side of that piece of material. I've ironed it, got all the little strings except for that one off of it. And this one right here, I missed 2. I'll trim those off, and I've got to make the handles before I go to the next part of putting it together. So I'll bring it back. Okay, this is the handles. I cut 2 strips, 2.5 inches, and I am going to take them and put the front side, the good side together, and I'm going to iron them together, and then I'm going to go back and sew them. I'm going to sew them down through the sides, and then I'm going to turn them inside outwards, and I'll show you that when I get to it. Okay, so now that I've got both sides seamed up, I'm going to stitch. I'm going to take this and turn it inside outwards. I'm going to take the safety pin and stuff it in there and pull it through, like so. That way I can pull it all the way through and it'll turn it inside outwards. Okay, so you see I'm all the way to the edge, and I just pull it on through. Pull it all the way through until it's inverted. And that's the width of the strap. Now, let me show you something else. Okay, so in here I've got a paint stick, and this is how I try to help with, this is how I do it. I'm sure you guys do it many ways, but I like to pull it really tight on the paint stick and do it. Sometimes I will use a chopstick. The edge of the chopstick's easy to go through there, and it will work it to press it out. But this one's a little bit bigger, and I like using the paint stick inside there. So I'm gonna get this done and iron this flat once I get it, the crease come out of it. Since this is the length that I wanted, I put the two ends together, and of course I ironed it all down flat. Put the two ends together, and then I'll just take the scissors like so. And cut that straight in half. So now I have two straps that are the same size. And I'll be putting this together and show you how I do it. Okay, so I wanted to show you how this foot works. You just literally let it work on its own, right up against the material, salvage, or whatever you're doing. This one is the straps, and see where I've already sewn this one? It brings it, and it makes such a beautiful straight line. That's why I said if you are new to quilting or sewing or whatever, I'm not new, but I still don't do the most straightest lines in the world. So this helps me to keep everything straight and happy. Oh, and I can't forget the sleeves. I want a good size hem, so I've ironed this over. This is the front side of them. See, I marked the front because these are two together. And then I will make another one on this side, and I'll sew these two down, and then I'll iron them again. Okay, folks, after putting the two sides together and realizing that I didn't have enough space in the center, I went ahead and trimmed a little bit more off of the sleeve of this, inside sleeve. So you want to check to make sure that you've got enough in the center so that it goes over the back of the Bible or book or whatever you're doing for, and you can put your sleeve inside. So that's why I went back and trimmed some more. If you were doing a hardback book, you'd want to trim even more. So you want to measure where you want your sleeve to come on your book, and make sure that you got it the way you want it. I had to take some off because I had too much, so I did a little boo-boo there, and I fixed it before I got it all together. Okay. Now on putting it together, I always try to measure and keep the handles exactly the same. Right here I measured them 5 centimeters from the end, and Then once I get it 5 centimeters, then I will press, make it come out and press it, and do the same on the other side and press it. The layers have to be in this order, or else it will not come back out whenever you put it inside outer. I mean, you know what I'm saying, outside. Bring the outside out from the inside, because you're going to sew this all up and leave a hole down here on the bottom. I leave this whole part here open right here, and then I pull everything out through that hole, and I'll show you how to do that. But see how I've got the straps folded over? That helps to keep them in place where they need to be, so that they're not getting crooked, and so they're not, you know, out of place. The side that you want covered up needs to be up top, because when you invert it, this is going to be on the inside. Okay, now that I've got it all sewed, I will go in here and I will grab a hold of the straps and I will pull them through. But I also want to trim these corners. So I'll bring you back when I got it all turned out and show you what it looks like. Alright, so I turned it inside outwards and I pressed it down really, really good, and I pressed the seam that I have open here still. I pressed it really good, and then I'm going to go back and I'm going to slip stitch this closed so you'll never see it. And then it will be done, and I will show you with it fully put together. Alright folks, that is it, all finished. My baby's all done. I am not going to put the thing on the outside unless it comes clean, really good, and I will stitch that on the front, which is over here. But it turned out very, very nice, and I am very, very happy with it. Still have room to stick stuff in there, and that'll be it. One project done today. Makes me happy. I can use it for church tomorrow.